I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we are taking a closer look at All-Star Batman issue number 11. Who is this mysterious knife-wielding individual who's gunning for Batman, and what's his connection to Alfred? Well, let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? Alright, so much like the previous issue, as we hop on into this comic, we are treated to Alfred's internal monologue instead of Batman's for a change. Once again, in a sweet bit of writing, Alfred talks about how he sees Bruce as his son, but how he fears for his future, how Batman refuses to die. In fact, he's even working on a machine that will allow him to be reborn, or even a computer program that will be able to mimic Alfred's personality. And crazier still, this actually isn't the first time we've seen Scott Snyder reference this stuff. The couple times we looked to the future in his main Batman book, we saw stuff like that. Now, while all this is going on, Bruce Wayne is still at the mercy of the Miami families, all dangerous descendants of famous pirates. With the help of Blackbeard's own grappling hook, Bruce is able to make it out of the building, only to land in the water where a bunch of deadly crocodiles are waiting for him. In a nice twist of irony, they say the real Blackbeard was killed by crocodiles. Alfred actually makes an attempt to rush out and save him, only for Bruce to be dragged underwater. He is saved by the rather unlikely trio of Penguin, Black Mask, and Great White, the Gotham gang lords who have been having it out with Hush. In fact, in a truly clever, truly inspired piece of writing, and follow me on this one, the three bad guys think that Bruce is actually Batman masquerading as Hush masquerading as Bruce Wayne. In fact, they go out of their way to say, hey, you know, Bruce Wayne doesn't really look like that, it's the jawline, you got it all wrong. Now, what's the gang lord's stake in everything that's going on right now? It's quite simple. Hush was after the Genesis engine, this amazing sort of 3D printer for living matter. They surprisingly don't want the device for themselves. They actively don't want anyone else to have it because they believe it's too much power for anyone to hold, and that it could easily affect all their illegal operations if people could just make whatever they wanted. It's because of that they go out of their way to arm Batman with the information about where the Genesis engine is going to be and how he can stop it from getting smuggled into the country. Now, what does any of this have to do with Alfred? Well, we get treated to quite a few of his flashbacks in this issue. We find out that as a young man, he was a rather rebellious youth, had a lot of anger and resentment towards his father, who was himself a butler, and who was never home basically at all because he was busy taking care of the Waynes and becoming part of their family. Much like Bruce, when Alfred's mother died, he used the tragedy to propel himself into doing something. In his case, it was joining the army, taking on all sorts of crazy, dangerous missions that no one else would do. He earned such a great reputation as a soldier that he caught the eye of MI5, but more on them in a minute. Now, when we check back on in with Batman, he's already en route to try and stop the transportation of the Genesis engine. How are they getting it into the country? Oh, in a wonderfully James Bond 007 style. An experimental submarine. One owned and crewed by Scott Snyder creation Tiger Shark, a supervillain, pirate, and weapon smuggler. Batman manages to board the vessel with not much trouble, only when he gets inside, all of the security is already dead, and Tiger Shark himself is getting beaten up by a new villain. This guy is dressed very much like an Arthurian knight, only instead of swords, he has microfiber blades on each of his hands that allow him to cut through just about anything. He makes ribbons of Batman, steals the device that everyone's been after, and then threatens to sink the ship just as an encore. But once again, I'm sure you're all asking, how is this related to Alfred? Well, as we find out, a dude named Briar from MI5 attempted to recruit Alfred for a special project, one that would make him more than a regular soldier, one that would make him a, get this, Dark Knight. Alfred refused, and Briar ended up shooting him in the head. Don't worry, Alfred made it out okay, and as we see, Alfred once again attempts to catch up to Batman, only to see this Dark Knight guy escaping with a much older Briar. So there's All-Star Batman for you, everyone, and overall I thought it was really cool. I've always been a huge fan of Alfred, and I dig this extra little look into his life, his upbringing, and how that affected his raising of Bruce. I've always enjoyed those sins of the father, fall on the son type of stories, and that's definitely what they're doing here with Alfred. Once again, Scott Snyder proves to be one of the biggest fans and referencers of the work of Scott Snyder, and as someone who's read everything he's done since day one. I like to see stuff like Tiger Shark come back. Same goes for the Batman trying to future-proof himself. I also get the distinct feeling that the Genesis engine might not actually be important here in this story, but will probably be a big deal later on. Overall, I thought it was a pretty strong entry in this series. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. So there you go, everyone. There's another taste of Batman for you for the week. I hope you liked it, and as always, check out some of these other videos I have on offer. Want to follow me on Twitter? You absolutely can at Cape Joel. And if you want to catch up on the works of Scott Snyder, you can by buying a trade over at Book Depository. I have a link down in the description, and if you use my link, not only will you get a great price, but a small percentage of that sale will go to support me. You win, I win, everybody wins, I tell you. So until next time, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again in another video. Bye-bye.